If you're the number one rated guy in Tampa, like Orlando is, he's one of the top three every ratings period. He's one of the top three at all time. Been doing it for a long, long time, and it's not even that big of a story. I guess you're pretty much right, Dan. Pretty much,
It's nobody.
Oh, what do I do with my spare time? I make out with Rhett's dog. Remnants. Hey, listen, 36% of you who watch my YouTube channel are not subscribed. That's screwing me over. I'm losing good money on that. It's 2 clicks. Hit the subscribe and notify bell. Do it, please. And my first story that we're going to close this segment out with is Orlando, the radio personality in Tampa.
Davis.
Who's been around nearly as long as I have. I started in 92.
Really?
Yeah, I started in 92. I think he got here in the 90s. I'm probably got 5 years on him here in Tampa. Probably. I do. But him and I used to be friends. Like, we used to be friends. And then he became best friends with Mike Calta, and him and I no longer became friends. And I don't really know of any event that happened or anything like that. But then when I started working for Beasley and they did Bubba 98.7, he's the big swinging D over there on the urban side, 94.1. He's the manager of 94.1. And
the host of the morning show.
And the host of the morning show. And, he's always, when he came into this market, it used to be Wild 98.7. And then they changed it over to Wild 94.1. And then in the transformation of 98.7 over the years, I eventually got 98.7 to be Bubba 98.7. And had I not been an idiot and made mistakes, I probably would still have that. But I did make some mistakes, and I own up to it, and I'll be forever paying for it. That being said, when I was over there and Bubba 98.7 was being on the air, it's been told to me, and I know for a fact that he absolutely anytime could get a dig in on me corporately, or he could say something bad about me or to corporate. He would. He was, constantly, saying very not cool stuff about me. So when Carl Harris, my buddy, who was the program director of 98.7,
good guy.
You love the guy. Worked for me prior. I was the one able to handpick the program director when it was still not Bubba 98.7. When he got fired and they were starting, and I was, only 6 months behind Carl. They had this 3D kind of Bubba bust, that gold bust that we had.
Got it back in 2008.
And we got it. It was sent to us as a gift. It was kind of like what's back in the back there, but larger.
Yes, it was
for me, and it was ours. And we used to, we would put it on camera every once in a while, talk about it on the air. Well, Carl had it in his office, and so when he went over there to be the program director in 98.7, he took that with him, and it was in his office. I was his morning man. We're best friends. He formerly worked for me. Well, when he got fired, he forgot to grab that. Orlando took it and gave it to Calta, and Calta has clowned it ever since. They've done glory hole stuff with it, and they've
come on, they keep defacing it.
Anna, is it
that's
defiling it?
Horrible.
Did you not see it when you were over there?
No,
it's in Calta's
never heard
office.
about
It's
it.
in Calta's office. He has a bust of me, and Orlando is the one that gave it to him as kind of an FU to me.
Nice.
So anyway, that guy got arrested for a DUI. It was big news.
Yeah, but it wasn't just like he got pulled over because he was drunk driving. He smashed into another car after running a red.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Did he hurt somebody?
I don't know
non-threatening injuries, but still.
So anyway,
totaled their car.
I do have an opinion about that.
Yeah, not good.
And I'm going to give you my opinion of that here. Well, I might as well just do it now. You're right. That's why Red doesn't have to.
Did he try to run or did he stay?
No. He didn't. Listen, he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't.
Except for drinking and driving.
Well, he didn't. Listen. He didn't do anything wrong. He was drinking and driving, and which is wrong. And he smashed into somebody's side of the car,
which is wrong.
And thank God the people that were in the car. It was the head news story. I think they even did I think there was Tampa here. I think 10. I thought 10 had Here we go. This is it. I thought
a video or something. Is that what you're looking for?
I had. Here we go. Right here. Here's channel 10's little video piece of it. I'll have to sit through. I had it all ready to go too, but if you let it go too long,
they'll get you with that
then
pre-roll.
They'll get you. Yeah, I mean,
said, hey, it's been a little too long since you've seen an advertisement.
Mm-hmm. See, we know that you gamed the system. We know that you watched us 30 minutes ago, and you're putting us on hold so that you can refer to us again without. But we're going to stick another pre-roll on you, buddy. You held on too long, kid.
For the
hold on. Here's the pre-roll.
Right.
Here we go.
Oh.
Popular radio show host Orlando Davis, known as Orlando, was arrested early this morning after police say he was driving under the influence. Tampa police say Wild 94.1 host caused significant damage to the other vehicle after running a red light at the intersection of Northdale Mabry Boulevard and West Kennedy Boulevard. He was charged with 1 count of DUI with property damage or physical injury. Davis has since bonded out.
All right, so that's what happened. And if you're a radio guy in Tampa and you've been around long enough, and you're relevant and you're somewhat known, then you're going to get, when you do stupid stuff, trust me, I'm at the very top of that list. When you do stupid stuff or you're going to court, they're trying to put you in prison. Think about all the news coverage I've gotten in this town and why.
Wait, hold on a second. You originally you said that he didn't do anything wrong. There was an argument there, and I was waiting for the next piece of that.
I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into that. Okay.
Got a message.
All right. Did somebody send me something on the? Did somebody send me a?
No, I think that's a different sound.
Yeah, I don't know what sound that was.
I don't know what.
Want to listen to their show a little?
I don't know.
I do.
I don't know where those sounds. I don't know where those sounds are coming from. Sorry. So shut up so I can get into my deal here.
Sorry.
So anyway, it's a big story here in town, and I'm sure everybody's talking about it. And this guy has of all the radio personalities that potentially could be. Now there'll be some radio personalities that are not allowed to talk about this. I don't know. I'm just saying. Like I don't know if the 98 Rock, 98 Rock may say you guys can't talk about it. I'm sure Couch is talking about it in a very pro. Orlando's my buddy. I love him. He's okay.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Everybody makes mistakes. Yippee-yo. Okay, that's probably his spin on the deal. I don't know. And then everybody is like, oh, man, I wonder what Bubba's going to say. Because this guy has been the biggest dick to me. Of all the radio person and how we all get along in town, which is pretty much everybody hates me. I mean, that's kind of the common denominator. Everybody... I can't think of anybody in radio that doesn't hate me in this market.
I don't hate you.
I can.
Well, no, there are a few. Here's the thing. Anna knows this firsthand. You have to act like you hate me.
Oh,
there's some sleeper cells, but they're out there.
That's the thing. Corporately, if you work at Cox, Beasley, or iHeart, you have to corporately, like if asked, you have to not like me. Like I am the bad guy. You hate him. But I do have some people in radio, radio hosts, that I wouldn't say are fans of the show.
Would.
Well, I would just say appreciate, what I've brought to Tampa, appreciate my show.
But still listen.
And I would say maybe at least say like my show.
Austin Yeager, 20 on the Cash App.
They like the show. They like the show. We might even be their favorite, morning show. Mm-hmm. In Tampa. They're a Tampa radio personality, and their favorite radio, who they listen. I know that when I used to be on 98, when I was on the Power Pig at night, 93.3 FLZ at night, and on Mondays we had jock meetings at 10 a.m., which means I lived in Palm Harbor at the time. I had to leave at about 9 or 8:50 just because you couldn't be late to make sure I got there by 10. And we had every Monday morning, and it was my only downfall of my job is every Monday morning I had to be at the station by 10 o'clock. And that would be, so every Monday, Anna, I would, from 9 until 10, I would be able to switch to all the morning shows and listen to and at that time, it was Ron and Ron. And then after Ron and Ron left, it was, my station, the Power Pig, the Three Little Pigs that I would listen to. But, as a radio guy, you kind of scan the radio dial and you're familiar with who's on what channel and who's good and who's legendary and who's not and who's done what. I mean, as a radio. And so I used to listen to Neil Rogers, too, out of Miami. And he was on AM 620. It was like a really you really had to be a radio nerd to know where Neil Rogers was. Like he was. It's just you really have to be a radio nerd to understand and even know how brilliant Neil Rogers was as a talk show host. His cynical, Jewish, yenta, prima donna, closeted homosexual, his cynical delivery, and he was one of the best talk show hosts of all time. And he was actually piped into Tampa. So I get to listen to him after the meeting. The meeting will last like an hour. So I drive back, to Palm Harbor around 11:30, and then I could catch the Neil Rogers show. And then after Neil, they had a midday show called Hooters on the Radio. And when the original Hooters on the Radio, which was on AM 1010, yep. The original Hooters with Lynn Austin, Julie Williams, and BL. They were so funny. They were so good. So, everybody in Tampa radio knows everybody. And they know, and very well, their favorite morning show may not be the morning show they're associated with. And their favorite afternoon show may not be the show they're associated with. You'd be surprised if you knew who my favorite afternoon drive show. Hell, I'll just tell you. Drew and John Sinning are why sit here and act like, I got to do what got me to the dance, and that's to be honest. Mm-hmm. Just be transparent. I'm probably the only guy on the radio that truly can, and anybody else is just a ripoff or stole my job like a thief. That being said, I'll just flat out say it. Drew and John Sinning are my afternoon drive show. Or middays, I don't really listen. I don't ever listen in the middays. I couldn't tell you who my favorite midday program was, but mornings would be us. Afternoons would be Drew and John Sinning, and then at night I don't really listen much. I listen to the night show sometimes on 102.5, and I wish I could have some time with them to make them better. They make so many mistakes, so many correctable mistakes, and they have so many correctable crutches. I could make them so much better if I could sit down with one air check session with those dudes. Probably during the midday, I do listen to Rome.
I was gonna say Jim Rome, yeah.
I do listen. If I happen to be in my car during the midday, I listen to Jim Rome. So anyway, that's my Tampa radio knowledge and my opinion. And if you don't like it, I'm so sorry, but chances are, if you're Bubba Army, you do like that. That's probably what you like. So here's this guy, Orlando, who's been in the market a long, long time. He's caused some issues with some people. He hates me. He's publicly let it know how much he hates me. He tried to get me fired a couple times when I was at Bubba 98.7. We had some kind of issue at a promo. It was like boys and toys, and they asked me to bring. It was like toys. It was like Dan. It was like
for tots?
I forget what it was. It was something to do with like cars and cool stuff for kids and cars or something like that. And they asked me to bring Tyler's sprint car as, kind of not a novelty, because, you would see like
something interesting.
Yeah. They had bounce houses and Ferraris and I don't know what the hell they had.
Yeah, it was kids. It's kids and cars.
Yeah. And so I brought Tyler's sprint car there and displayed it. And I guess he was there on part of 94.1, and he said something or did something. It ended up being a little bit of a big dust up corporately. And so whatever. I don't listen to his show because I'm on during the same time. I think he's marginally talented as a host. And I think that urban format where you have some crutches and some, almost like Charlemagne the God kind of deal. Like you're a kind of a wannabe, hack version of Charlemagne the God. You got your girl over there, which, by the way, the girl on the show is pretty hot.
Meredith?
Yeah, I think she's hot.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. And then I guess I got a new guy.
On Orlando show? Meredith?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather see DUI pictures of hot chicks than this guy.
Yeah, man, I'd rather see a bikini shot of her than this guy. So anyway, this guy has been not cool to me at all. And he gets arrested for a DUI. And here's my message to you, Orlando. Go get some help, bud. And I hope corporate doesn't screw with you too much and make you do a bunch of stupid stuff. And I hope everything works out for you. I don't wish anything harm. I don't wish any harm on you. Maybe this is an intervention or a life lesson that maybe you have a drinking problem, or maybe you drink and drive a lot, or something like that. Maybe this will be a rude awakening to that, and this will be a life lesson. I will tell you, as arrogant and cocky as I ever got, it took me getting knocked down a few pegs for me to understand and appreciate what I have.
He's a fellow Hoosier too.
I know if Gary, Indiana, I know everything about him. Gary, Indiana went to IU, has 2 kids. We were friends at one time until he is he's a big Calta guy. So
think it would be appropriate to send him a gift certificate to Uber?
That'd be a funny flex.
That's actually pretty funny, Dan. Let me give him a give him a pop. But listen, Orlando, I wish you the best. I'm not going to sit here and make fun of you. I just know that I'm going to take the high road with you, and I wish you the very, very best, my friend. And hopefully, corporate doesn't use this, and the trolls don't get a hold of your clients, and it ends up, because if it was me and I had done something wrong, the next thing you know, the trolls get a hold of all my clients. Hell, the trolls, some of which you probably know, used to get a hold of all my clients and get me canceled when I wasn't even doing anything wrong, just for being Bubba the Love Sponge.
Yeah, but you're like Trump, man. You're very polarizing. You're very famous. You destroy everyone around you. You're by far the best guy in the Tampa Bay, let alone Florida, let alone country, as a DJ. So this is like, you getting arrested would be like Trump getting arrested. Him getting arrested is like the congressman from like Live Oak getting arrested because he's a nobody. So it's not going to get the same kind of coverage that you would get because you're a superstar and he's like, a dim white dwarf.
What?
It's a star that doesn't shine brightly. It's called the white dwarf.
That's smart guys talk.
White dwarf.
It's a type of star.
It's a type of star. It's a dim star.
I don't know if that would be very appropriate at all in this particular situation.
Well, it doesn't matter the color. It's just the dimness.
It kind of does.
The brightness.
It kind of does.
Okay, or just a dwarf. He's a dwarf.
A star.
A
How about
dwarf star.
A dwarf.
A dwarf star. What are they called? Are they called white dwarfs? I think they're called white dwarfs.
I think you're right.
It just kind of says.
But it's not like you're like a supernova. You're like the champagne supernova.
Okay, well, Orlando, good luck to you, buddy. And there is a thing called karma, I guess. You guys, all you guys that keep screwing with me, all you radio personalities but I'm still standing, and I ain't going nowhere, and I'm making a living, and we're doing good shows, and I've established a digital infrastructure of which you have not. So I don't know, listen, keep up your big time terrestrial gigs, all you haters and all you guys that have done stuff to me or against me or whatever. There's a lot of them. It's because you're all jealous of me and you guys all think that I just fell into this and that it's not because I'm better than you. You hate to admit that I'm better than you. You just hate to admit it. It just kills you to see the levels that of radio that I've done, who I was handpicked by. How at the end of the day, this is why they really hate me, Lemmy. This is why a lot of the radio industry hates me.
Because they hate me.
Well,
being you.
You know what? Because and you can say that he's lost a little bit and he doesn't do the same type of radio that he used to, and that is Howard Stern. But you are so tore up because listen, for all of radio, no matter what era. 10 years, 20, 40, 100 years from now, when the radio if radio's even still around, radio literally could be 10 years from now. You know what? Literally, I read an article, and I'm a true radio historian. They're saying literally that radio could be as uncool as CB radio in 10 years. That's what.
Except you need an activity that you don't need to look at while you're driving. There has to be an activity in your car that you can do while driving, and you can't watch three-dimensional, in-person virtual reality videos while you're freaking driving. You need to listen to something while you're driving.
And most people run their audio through their dashboard. What I'm trying to say is you don't have to have an FM button on. I mean, I'm just telling you, United States government had to step in this year, Dan, and mandate that automakers don't dump AM. Automakers were collectively trying to, with absolutely were not required to not be like OEM federally required to include AM radio. Before last year, they're like, we need AM radio in case there's a natural disaster happens. We have to be able to commandeer the radio stations. We do have a national broadcasting system where every radio station. I don't know if I don't know that did it happen during 9/11 and during the Pearl Harbor deal. But I mean,
it probably happened closer to Pearl Harbor than it did 9/11.
But what I'm saying is,
it's probably one of those systems that the best way to communicate to the country is through AM.
We as a country have the ability to take over. The government has the ability at the hit of one button to take over every radio station in America. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you hear those tests, if you listen to regular radio, every 30 days they have to run what they call an emergency broadcast systems test. And they have to pick a different hour each month. There's like, it can't be always at, you do it at 3 a.m. every month. That way nobody, you're not really interrupting, primetime radio. Well, so they run a thing. You guys, we've all heard of that.
Yep.
They've streamlined it since the old days. Man, back in the old days, it used to be like almost signing on to AOL. It's like, now they've streamlined it, but it's testing that radio station's emergency broadcast system. So the government throws down these tones and your station it picks it up, and then they've tested it and they know that works. That's so that the government literally can take over every radio station in America, AM and FM, and broadcast any type of message they need to get to the people. Right? That's
And now, does that system work simultaneously with the TV's version? Or is that separate?
They probably have a TV version.
Because you get those same kind of things on TV.
They have the ability to do it for TV too. Yes, it's probably a different. It's a different probably department. I don't know. But anyway, they can do it to the TV. Well, America has always thought, well, we need that AM real estate to be able to really. The government feels they don't need AM anymore. They got texts. They got your cell phone, right? I mean, Dan, now they can put it over your cell phone and they don't need AM.
Right.
So that was the government's argument, and it won, and it had to get appealed, and they overturned it. So AM got a 1-year reprieve. They'll do again and vote for it again next year. So AM got a 1-year reprieve. Well, that's where radio's headed.
It looks like they're trying to pass a bill that forbids automakers from removing AM radio for lifetime. For
I know that. They just got a 1-year reprieve on an appeal. But I mean, as we fast forward, let's say when I started kind of going digital in 2017. So what is that? 6 years?
6 years.
6 years. Well, I mean, it's taken me 6 years to build what we got. Taking me 6 years. And I have, BubbaArmyRadio.com, and I have archives, and I have, all of this stuff. I own all of this stuff. It's mine. A lot of these radio hosts, Anna, you're probably closer to it to me. A lot of these radio hosts, these long form monologue, not just music jock radio hosts, but like long form monologue. I don't know that they own that content for the ability to be able to put it somewhere else that benefited them.
They do not.
So then what are you going to do? You got to start from show one with no subscribers, nothing. You're starting with nothing. So good luck to all of you out there. All of you local radio guys that talk smack about me, because I've reverse engineered it. You need to be where I am. Yeah, I may not be the morning guy on 98 Rock in Tampa, which I wish I was, because you all be in trouble. I promise you that.
They'll be on YouTube doing DoorDash here soon enough.
Yeah, but bitch, I'm telling you, when you get replaced with AI, that's coming. I mean,
for a regular DJ, absolutely,
regular,
man. AI blows it away.
For you radio personalities, man, they're not hiring. Let me just tell you that. Read the trades. They're not hiring. They're just letting people go, and maybe some people are getting syndicated. They're spreading the peanut butter thin, and they're going to keep these syndicatable personalities that can do, 8, 9, 10 markets, and they're going to get rid of you. They're going to get rid of you. Just being the number one guy locally anymore eventually is going to catch up to you.
Yeah, you're about as relevant as a floppy disk.
If you're the number one rated guy in Tampa, like Orlando is, he's one of the top 3 every ratings period. He's one of the top 3 at all time. Been doing it for a long, long time, and it's not even that big of a story. I guess you're pretty much right, Dan. Pretty much,
He's nobody.
Well, he just became somebody because I talked about him. Oh my God, he got me.
Oh, he got a pop.
At least you got something, bud. I wish you the best. I hope Beasley doesn't screw with you, make you go to corporately. What happens when you get a DUI? What happens when
I
you
want to
get
listen in.
If he says he's got a problem, then they'll put him in some kind of rehab, and he just cries. It's like, it's not my fault. It's my problem. It's my.
I mean, does he do that though? Is that the
no one
excuse
takes
he
responsibility.
I
It's
just
all
sent you
because they
the
have something
link.
else going on. This is a product of a genetic weakness I have because I'm just a weak snowflake.
I just sent you the.
It's not me. It's
Listen,
my.
I know what Dan.
Condition.
I don't even really know what Dan says. What Dan just said.
You understand what
You
I'm
listen
saying?
live top right.
Well, I think they could have maybe.
Wow.
Top.
Wow.
Hold on. Let me just stop.
Okay.
So he's dropping the mic. Okay. All right.
He's
good.
dropping the mic.
Yeah. That's what that
Her
is.
head's bigger than his head.
Stop. Just Dan. I don't know who decided to do this animation. You guys should just have taken a normal picture because Meredith, you guys she's really pretty.
Really?
She's
Not
very,
there.
What I'm saying is you didn't do her any justice at all because she is hot.
Right.
She is. I'm just telling you, she's an attractive woman.
He looks
I think
prettier than her.
Shadow's got the best over on that one.
And it looks like, man, the person that wanted to maybe approve of this one was Orlando because they really, really make him look like
looks
$1 million
sexy.
compared
Yeah.
to what I mean. Look, did I click out of the story already? Let me maybe send me the story again. I can go side by side comparison to what his booking photo looks like.
Yeah, don't look like that.
Compared to that. And meanwhile, she, on the other hand, you guys really didn't do her any justice because she's a very beautiful woman, and you guys completely buried her. By making Orlando look. Did you send it to me?
I sent it to you. Yep.
By trying to use the one that made Orlando look the best, you really didn't do.
Oh no.
You really didn't do
Yeah.
Meredith any justice at all. There you go. Man, Dan, can we send him a Botox certificate too?
Yes, absolutely. I can get Botox,
And an Uber.
and I can send her some horse dewormer.
No, Dan.
Oh,
What?
Jesus.
Yeah, first of all, you're going to say you're sorry.
I'm
I know,
sorry.
because she is hot.
Okay.
Take my word for it.
Okay.
So, for real.
All right.
Don't dog Meredith.
Okay.
She is hot. They jobbed her out.
That sucks.
Anna, when we come back,
If you did this picture with Anna, you'd make her look good.
yeah,
You'd make her look all sexy with her big
Absolutely.
hair and
I-
hide her earlobes.
I
It'd
just
be
photoshopped
awesome.
that one she uses for Anna Hum Alive. God
which is a
dang,
nice
that's
picture.
the best shot ever.
Right.
you.
Yeah.
I'm just
exactly.
saying, hey,
Catfish.
Anna, we're going to do like a little group deal. Can I use, and we got a graphic artist that can do it all, so can I just use that really hot shot of yours?
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
You're good at that?
Yep.
But kind of put you over my back left shoulder a little bit. Have you sitting by Dan, Lummy on the other side, Red on the other side. Trying to think how it would go. It'd go me in the middle, then it would be probably Dan to my left and Lummy to my right, and then maybe Anna and then Rhett. Kind of, and you got to put the Macho Man in there.
Yeah,
Maybe it's us looking over him bench pressing 500 pounds. Maybe
Sure,
that's
he'd love that.
Yeah.
In post, we can just make Macho 3 times bigger than everybody
Right.
else.
In post, just make Macho literally just look like a
Giant.
He's holding us in his hand.
So-
little people in his hand.
Let me go to words. I'm gonna. You know what, Anna? I have the balls. I
Balls.
don't know that any other radio shows. This is kind of really shows you got balls when you're another radio show. and you go listen to another one live on your airwaves. Like that's that's Dan Diaco. Look how big my balls are.
Right.
And what are you going to do about it? And I used to be that way, and I'm starting to get my balls back. I really am getting my balls back.
No, Bubba's balls are back.
I'm getting them back. I'm not nearly as hardcore as I used to be, but I'm going to try to be a little more hardcore. See, I opened up this segment and said I was going to be a nice guy. Now I'm over to the hardcore Willie.
Right, with big nasty
inevitable.
balls.
With big balls. We're going to check in on our... Maybe I should call him live.
Why not? Because you got AC/DC balls, man. Let's go for it.
It's a sign. The end times are here. Ultra-powerful hurricanes, tsunamis, massive earthquakes, and Bubba the Love Sponge.